Hi, this is Sean with Cultivate You Counseling. Today I want to talk with you about using insurance and some things to keep in mind when seeing a therapist. First off, if you have any questions about your insurance, what it covers, what it doesn't, I always recommend either logging into your website for your insurance company and researching what your coverage is, or giving them a call to clarify what exactly they will cover and what they won't. Sometimes that can be a little confusing, understanding deductibles, co-pays, all that kind of thing. So just knowing up front what your coverage is helpful. Also, if you're going to see a counselor for a mental health problem, they do have to diagnose you and justify medical necessity. Without a diagnosis, insurance companies will usually deny coverage. So a couple things around that you'll want to be thinking about, or I encourage clients to think about, is if you get a diagnosis, it is on your permanent record, which can impact your ability to get insurance in the future. It may create a scenario where you're considered to have a pre-existing condition. Also, if you're in a legal situation, whether you're filing for custody in a divorce case, or you're dealing with a criminal legal matter, it may impact that in some way because records can be requested. So, using insurance can be really helpful in terms of reducing the cost to see a counselor, but you have to be generally diagnosed in order to use your insurance. And so there's some other reasons too that could cause problems for people. One being if you have a security clearance, or you're thinking of applying for a job which may require you to have a security clearance. Potentially a diagnosis like bipolar disorder could impede your ability to work in certain industries as a result of that. There are some, what I believe are misperceptions about people's stability who have some of these labels. I personally find a lot of diagnosing to be complicated because there is certain judgments attached to these labels, and no one wants to be viewed as being unstable, and certainly from an employer, right? And so you don't want to make your life more difficult and more stressful by seeing a counselor. One way to avoid all of that, obviously, is to pay out of pocket when you meet with a counselor, which is, in the state of Colorado, anywhere from $100 an hour to $200 an hour for most counselors. That might be well worth it, good peace of mind knowing that you don't have to be diagnosed in order to get the help you feel like you need. Also, a couple of other things with insurance is they can request your records. They can look at what therapists are saying about you, and they can also deny care and deny services if they don't think it's medically necessary. So they get involved. It takes the decision out of the therapist and the client into the hands of the insurance company, which is the same problem that we see in the medical field as a general rule, where doctors have to get approval or prior authorization in order to provide the services that they clinically think are appropriate. Me personally, I don't think insurance companies should be having that much say in the care that patients receive, but I didn't design the system, unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know. Maybe I would have run amok, but I think because it's a money-driven situation, insurance companies have a vested interest in reducing claims, so that way they're paying less out, so their profit margins are higher. That's how business works, right? Like when you go into business, you want to make as much money as you can, but there are ethics involved in my view. And, ethically, I think it's important that clients get the care that they need, regardless of what their supposed diagnosis is. And certainly I can talk a little bit about this as well, as the diagnosis is not terribly scientific, right? Like when you're meeting with a therapist or a doctor, they might meet with you for 30 or 60 minutes, but we can't possibly determine all of the health issues that are going on in that period of time, especially if no other tests are being ordered. In one of the manuals that we use to diagnose, one thing it does say is that all medical causes or potential causes of mental health problems should be ruled out, right? Like people should holistically be taken care of, making sure there aren't medical problems, physical health problems, which are contributing to your mental health well-being. But because we're in a system which has fragmented care, clients often don't get that kind of holistic perspective. So something could be, off with your blood or your hormones or other things going on in your body that you could be unaware of that could be impacting your mental health. So, when a therapist diagnoses you with something, that's not really a definitive picture of your mental health, because until, all of your potential medical problems are addressed, or evaluated for, we really can't say. And even then, we're not able to do brain scans or blood tests to determine mental health problems. So, it's about having a conversation mainly between you and the therapist or you and the doctor. And that has some limited information to it. It'd be one thing if a therapist got to observe you for a month in your life and be able to see what every aspect of your life looks like. We might have a more objective picture of what's going on, but we can't expect in a 30 or 60 minute appointment to have that big picture viewpoint. So, it's important to look at diagnosis through a grain of salt and realize that it's not a definitive picture of really anything. I personally don't love diagnosing, in part because of this reason. If you meet with someone who's just accepting cash pay, then you don't have to worry about that so much. Like, obviously, therapists are still assessing for your mental health, but we're not having to slap a label on you unless you are really wanting to better understand that part of your experience. Then we could talk about diagnosing and what that may look like. Some diagnoses, I think, are more helpful than others. I think post-traumatic stress disorder is a useful one to help explain to trauma survivors possibly why they're having nightmares or flashbacks, or they're feeling jumpy, things like that. So it's nuanced, it's complicated, but I just think it's important to understand that those variables do go into effect when you're looking at insurance and using insurance for mental health. And trying to use insurance can be difficult because a lot of therapists don't accept insurance, or they're full on their caseloads. And so, even getting in to see someone can take a while. And that obviously isn't great either, because if you're suffering, you want help as soon as possible. So thank you for watching today, and feel free to reach out to me at cultivateyoucounseling.com. You can call me at 720-295-8781. Happy to answer any questions. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.